Buzz opens the bag. Okay, Woody, let's go. It reveals to be Stinky Pete. Stinky Pete then punches Buzz. Take that, space toy. Woody. Hey! No one ever does that to my friend. He wrestles with Stinky Pete, and they both fell out of that bag. Stinky Pete used a pickaxe to tear Woody's arm, and Woody screams as a result. Your choice, Woody. We can go to Japan together or in pieces. You're going to be in that museum. You'll be ruined fix once. He can fix you again. Now get in the box. Never, Woody said. Fine. Stinky Pete raises the pickaxe, ready to kill Woody. Camera then flashes everywhere, blinding Pete and stopping him dead in his tracks. The flashes are coming from Buzz and the other toys. The toys throw the cameras, comfort Woody, and as Buzz apprehends Stinky Pete. You idiots! Children destroy toys! You'll be ruined, forgotten, spending eternity rotting in some landfill. Well, Stinky Pete, I think it's time for you to find out the meaning of playtime. Rex and Mr. Potato Head. Come on, Jesse. Come on, Bullseye, let's go. Come on, this way. The toys leave the airport, and they go to the Pizza Planet truck. Okay, Buzz, do you know how to drive this thing? Yeah, we'll be driving too. Buzz then is cut off mid-sentence. Where are you taking me? I demand a complaint. I will destroy you all. Where are you taking me? No, we're taking you to your worst nightmare. And what's that? You don't want to know. What's this bonding thing strip so I can shut up this man? Mrs. Potato Head grabs out a piece of duct tape. I found some. Mr. Potato Head pulls out a piece of tape and slaps it onto Stinky Pete's mouth. Let me help you with that, darling. I will kill and all destroy of you if it's the last thing I do. Stinky Pete was muffled. Oh, be quiet, Prospector. Buzz, just drive. Okay, got it, Woody. Buzz then starts up the engine. A one trip later time card appears, and then it shows back at the seat with Rex, Stinky Pete, Mr. Potato Head, Mrs. Potato Head, and the free Pizza Planet aliens. Jesse, Bullseye, Woody, and Stinky Pete are sleeping. We're here, honks the horn, awaking all the toys in the backseat. Great, we're here at last. Buzz, is this where we're sending the Prospector? You gotta be save our lives. We're eternally grateful. Blah, blah, blah. The camera pans out to show a dump. Hey, Buzz, the landfill. Of course, Rex. Now, let's go. Stinky Pete removes the duct tape out of his mouth while shrieking in pain due to being while tearing out. Why are you taking me to the dump? Oh, you'll see. While smiling with a devilish smirk on his face after saying it, a one garbage drunk travel time card appears. It showed Woody and the gang on the conveyor belt that led to the incinerator. Right over there. This is where you'll be going. Onwards, guys. No, 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 no! Stinky Pete screamed. The toys hear me sobbing as they turn their necks to me. Is this what you wanted? Do you want us to drop him into the incinerator? No, 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 no! I don't want this to happen! Too bad. We're dropping him. Buzz lets go of Stinky Pete, and Stinky Pete screams as he falls. He screams in pain as he bumps into the garbage. Ah! Ooh! Ah! Ah! See you later, plaything. Stinky Pete, he screamed. You'll pay for this, Woody. I hate you. Leads it to the fiery pit in the middle and screams like his voice actor was in pain. We see him begin to melting off, and then he was no more. Woody and the other toys watch him burn as he smiled sarcastically. Stinky Pete was gone. He was turned into rubble as the other garbage was as well in the landfill. Alright guys, ready to go back home? Wait, Woody. What about the fixed arm? Don't worry about it, Jesse. You guys gotta head home and get it fixed for you. The TV then cuts to static, and the screen goes to black. And that, my little pretties, was Toy Story 2, An Alternative Villain Death Transcript. A Toy Story creepypasta written by Affan Jamsari. My final thoughts on this story. Now, I remember reading the alternative ending of this pasta, well, about, not too long ago. I think it might have been a few months ago, so I decided to read the transcript of this story. Now, this story, I definitely have to say, is kind of same thing like the Toy Story An Alternative Villain Death. But in this matter, though, I definitely would have to say that it actually plays out pretty well. But I did notice some things in the story that I kind of want to make an address to, just in case if you guys are wondering. Now, for one, some of the characters, first letter of their name is not capitalized. Like I saw a couple of times where I think Buzz's name with the B being lowercase, Woody's W for his first letter of his first name was lowercase as well. So yeah, there is definitely that. There's definitely that. Like some of the some of the letters on their first name a few times was lowercase. I just thought I would make a mention of that. The story, it did have it's basically kind of the same thing, but it's a little different. Like, to be honest, it's just a little different when it came to, how this story went out. Like, I mean, the story is not terrible. It does have a great concept, but of its own self, I still have to say that there was a lot of, there's a few punctuation errors in the story, so I thought I would make it that. There were a couple punctuation errors I did notice. And, that's in the story, is that there's punctuation errors. The story of its own self does have somewhat of a potential to be good. Like, I mean, it wasn't terrible or anything, but the story of itself just didn't really, have a really good, concept. Like, I mean, the story was actually pretty good, but of its own self, it just didn't really, what was it? Oh, yeah. It's basically kind of the same thing, but it's basically just a transcript. So I've been wanting to narrate this for a little while. So yeah, it's basically the same thing. Why did I repeat this again? Well, it's a transcript version. I decided, I'll read this one because, well, why not? And, the story was not a terrible one. Although Stinky Pete does get his comeuppance, but that's just basically it. And I would have to say it kind of rips off a little bit of Toy Story 3 alternative ending with the incinerator part. I really think that didn't need to be in there, and it was not really necessary for that to be in the story. So I kind of have to knock that down a point because of that. The ending wasn't really that sad. Well, it kind of had, the toys looking devilish and all that. But I would have to say, it didn't involve everybody dying at the end, which that's good because, well, I mean, it doesn't always have to be bad with characters dying at the end, but you get what I mean. The story of its own self, it's not a terrible story, but I really do recommend that it does need a little bit of work. So, yeah, there's definitely that. There's a couple of punctuation errors and sentence structuring errors and grammatical errors. So, yeah, this has to be put through Google Docs and it will be, fixed up. Another thing of being the issue is that if it's a transcript, it doesn't really always work out when it comes to creepypastas. Like, I mean, sometimes transcripts can work, but depending on the story of what it is, but mostly it just doesn't really work that way. If you get the idea, then yeah. Take a look at, Sophia the First Crown Cancer. That one, although it did kind of have like a transcript, involved in it, from what I remember, I haven't read that story in a while. Like, I mean, it's not a terrible story. Like, I'm not gonna lie. It's not a terrible story, but it does need to be worked on. That right there, I'm just being honest with that story alone. Like, I mean, now I did narrate that back 2 years ago, and I would have to say it does need, work. But other than that, the story was not terrible. It's not a terrible story. It just needs work, and that's the main thing with the story. But other than that, the story was not that terrible. It wasn't bad. Does need work though, but it's not a bad story. Now, anyways, that being the case, that being said, to Affan Jamsari, please take what I have to say with a grain of salt and do your best to become better at these stories. I mean, you do have made some interesting stories and some not great stories, and some mediocre stories. But, you know, I know you could do better. This one was not terrible, but it was not great either. So, yeah. Anyways, that, like I'm going to say, this is just simply my own personal opinion, and if you happen to disagree with me, that's fine too. We're all entitled to our own opinions regarding these creepypastas, and this is simply my own personal thoughts. My final rating of this story would have to be a 10 not 10 out of 10. I'm gonna give this one a 4 out of 10. Giving it a 4 because it's kind of the same like the other Toy Story 2 story I did like a while back. The story's not terrible. Not gonna lie, it was not a terrible story. It needs work. That's just all I have to say. But anyways, you know, with that said, what did you guys think about this creepypasta? Did you all enjoy it? Did you all not? And also, what would you have done personally to help make this story a lot better? Feel free to leave me now what your thoughts are down in the comments section down below. I'm the Queen of Lions. Thank you so much for watching today's episode. And if you're new to my channel, like, comment, and subscribe. Ring the bell for notifications. And as always, please roll the outro because I'm out.